Hey everyone, it's Alice, and this is the patch 12.22 notes rundown, and just a bit of a heads up in that these changes that we're about to talk about in the patch, I cannot comprehensively go over them that much in this rundown because I just think there's so much that has to actually be talked about. I wanted to wait until this patch would come out to make my own separate video on this, and so that is still something that I will do. We will jump right into it, obviously. The return of Chemtech. Chemtech Drake is back and better than ever. Our goal with the new and improved Drake is to encourage calculated, aggressive plays and incentivize players to fight to the end to gain the advantage over the opponents, go big or go home. Chemtech Dragon. When the Chemtech Drake is below half health, it gains 33% damage increase or damage resistance and deals 50% more damage. This Drake will deal 100% total AD plus 4% of the target's health is physical. Okay. When your team kills a Chemtech Drake, they will gain a stacking buff that grants 5% tenacity, 5% healing, and shielding power. So, I mean, okay, the passive buff is like conditionally broken, right? If you have enchanters or you have healers on your team and you get this, I mean, it's nuts. The tenacity thing is it's actually not as good as I think people would ever think that it is. So, this is a very weird buff. Upon receiving the Chemtech Soul, players will receive a buff that gives them 10% damage resistance, 10% damage resistance, and 10% more damage while below 50%. That's insane. That is actually that is okay. That is a very big buff. That is a very strong soul, but the actual passive buff itself is very weak. This is a very strong. This is basically Infernal Soul for enchanters. Enchanters that go like Redemption Mikhails. This is their Infernal Soul. That is exactly what this is. So for like Soraka, Karma that's doing that build, right? Lulu, etc. They don't really get high EP ratios. So like, while Infernal Dragon does help them a little bit, right? Because they are auto attack centric and whatnot. The real thing is that this is a massive steroid for them. This is the Infernal Dragon for enchanters, and that's the way that it should definitely be perceived. Okay, so Chemtech Rift. Alongside the new dragon is the Chemtech Rift. The Chemtech Gas we introduced to the Rift in last year's preseason was a bit too toxic for a good gameplay experience, so we opted to take a more measured approach this year. Now, instead of sitting on the surface, the Zonite chemicals have seeped their way into the Rift, mutating the environment and enhancing each of the jungle plants with different effects. Okay. Stim Fruits. Honey Fruits will now upgrade into Stim Fruits and provide the usual heal plus a bonus shield in addition to no longer slow. Okay, that's awesome. Blast Cones. Blast Cones now blast units within a range twice as far. Okay, that's cool too. Scryer's Bloom will now upgrade into Firelight's Bloom, which reveals a small area around the plant when broken, in addition to the usual cone in the opposite direction it was broken from. That's good. Allies tag will also gain movement speed towards that. All right, I mean, these are all cool changes. Okay, so the jungle changes. Now, I understand that a lot of you guys clicking on the video might actually be here to hear me talk about the jungle changes and what this could end up meaning. And I'm really sorry to say this, but it has to be a separate video because it is its own video. It does not belong actually in a patch rundown, at least I think. Talking about it because there's so much going on with it that it's its own video. It's its own thing. It doesn't exist inside of a rundown, I think. Obviously, like, there's a lot to talk about in terms of like viable junglers, what's going to happen to the junglers and everything, and what is actually going to be the mix-up. And on that front as well, for like Patreon, there was just, a tier list put out not too long ago. The entire thing has to get overhauled. It's going to be a bit, I think. And obviously, I take a lot of pride in solving things or reaching conclusions faster than typically, others might take in terms of time. But I don't know because these are really massive. I'm not quite sure exactly how long this will take, but I will try to dive into this a lot in the next like week, 2 weeks, etc. And I'll do the same thing that I did in 2020 when I was temporarily disappeared in November with all the T1 stuff going on. And I just grinded that preseason a lot for the items and whatnot. I'll be doing the same thing with the jungle. So we won't be going into the jungle stuff too much because, again, it is just way too much. What I do know off the top of my head, unless something has actually changed, is that the jungle monsters, one of them is actually just noticeably worse. It might be the blue one. I like that they've lined this up exactly with Pokemon, by the way. Pokemon's coming out in 2 days. I will be doing a Pokemon Scarlet stream on Twitch. Amazing. Yeah, the jungle companions, right? One of the jungle companions is actually not as good as others, I believe. Yeah, it might be this. So actually, let me just take a look at this, just so I can tell you guys off the top of my head. Maw Stomper gains 70 shield after killing a monster camp. Ember Sack 3 upon killing 100 Ember Sacks. Your next instance of damage against another champion. Okay. Gain 45% bonus entering a brush that decays over. This is yeah, this one. Gustwalker sucks. Okay. I don't know which one of these is Gustwalker. This sucks. You do not pick Gustwalker. So it's gonna be Scorchclaw or it's gonna be Moss Stomper. Gustwalker is so fake news. This is the most fake news thing I have ever seen. The only way that I could see this being good is if you're maybe like a full clear jungler and you are against a low tempo matchup and you can constantly finagle movement inside of the jungle, like moving through brushes, to hasten your clear speed such a considerable amount. That is the only thing that I could ever think that this would somehow be more valuable than this. Or if, like, maybe you're like Rengar or you have, like, Ivern on your team. Like, if you have Ivern on your team and you're perma-moving in brushes and team fights, okay, that's actually kind of nuts, to be honest. Like, if you have Ivern and he's giving you brushes in the middle of team fights, like, that's kind of unique. But for the most part, it does look like, in this instance, I'm sorry, but I do think that it's Squirtle, right? Squirtle sucks in this instance, okay? Okay, leashing range updates and indicators. I mean, this is all really insane. You guys might have seen me and I think Azale's tweets on this on Twitter. Not a really big fan of all these changes, but again, separate video, lot to unpack. Very excited to make that video when it does end up happening. And now recommended pathing. Starting off your first clear on the wrong foot can be quite punishing for junglers, especially when the opponent knows exactly how to optimize their clear straight into their first gank. In order to make this first clear less punishing for newer off-roll junglers, we're adding first clear pathing recommendations. The recommendation will be shown on your minimap and above camps, visually indicating the recommended order of the first clear. These first clear paths were determined by gathering data from high-skilled junglers on their high mastery. Honestly, what they should do is they should have, like, Phalaris or the guy that makes those jungle videos. They should actually probably just work with him patch by patch or something. Like, I think that would be an amazing idea. I think that would be an amazing idea if Riot could do something like that. Communication tools, guys, don't forget. Isn't there freeze? Hold. Hey, change it back. You guys know. You know in your heart of hearts this is supposed to be freeze, guys. You know in your heart of hearts this is supposed to be freeze. It's fine. All right, other pings. Okay, vision system updates, enemy ward timers. It can be hard to keep track of every single ward that gets placed on the map, and even harder to successfully communicate that information. Now, if you use a vision ping near an enemy ward that you've seen within the last 10 seconds, or just attack it, a perfectly accurate ward timer will be visible to teammates. Okay, that is really cool. Allied ward tracking. Okay, this is fine as well. And then ability recommendations, suggested ability updates. That's fine. Top lane oriented updates, lane gold, and experience changes. Okay. We're also making some adjustments to help top laners scale better relative to other lanes and hit those key item and level breakpoints. All minions spawned in the middle lane will now be worth 1 gold less before 14 minutes. Wow. Huge nerf to Chovy. Previously, only cannon minions were worth less gold, but were worth 10 less gold. Okay. Minion experience. Minions now grant 2.5% more experience to solo champions. That's very good. Minion experience shared between multiple champions is unchanged. Okay, this is all fine. These are really great changes for top lane. New and updated items. So there's a lot of items here. Okay, Jackshow, the Protean. Becoming an unkillable monstrosity over the course of the fight. Gold cost 3,000, health 400. So is this a legendary? Oh, no, it's a mythic. Okay. 400 health, 30 armor, 30 magic resist, and 20 ability haste. Aegis of the Legion, Kindle Gem, and Ruby Crystal. It's a pretty awkward build path for a mythic, especially for, like, jungle. This is basically not possible in jungle. Passive Voidborn Resilience. For each second in combat, gain a stack, granting 2 armor and MR up to 8 max, so 16 armor MR, on top of the amounts that it's already giving. And max stacks become empowered, instantly draining enemies around you for 3% of your max health, reduced to 30% against minions and monsters, and increasing your resist. I mean, it's just Cho'Gath's item, right? It's like Cho'Gath, like Tank Swain. There's so many champions that are tank that can build this, that will build this, and now with Chemtech Drake, if you RNG Chemtech Drake, This is so absolutely absurd. And with Demonic Embrace, like, being in the game, AP Bruisers, AP Tanks, Cho'Gath, Zac, these types of... Swain, these types of champions are going to be nutsoid with this item. This is now the offensive, like, tank item for tanks. That I think will just take Sunfire's role, because I can't imagine wanting to not have well, here's the problem. You need Sunfire to clear. But this obviously is a standalone. So this is like top mid lane support type thing. Radiant Virtue. So these are the Ornn upgrades. This is fine. Radiant Virtue. Become a shining light and lead the charge as a beacon of hope for your allies. Gold cost 3,000. 400, 30, 30, 20 ability haste. Same build path. Upon casting your ultimate, you transcend, increasing your max health by 10% for 9 seconds. While transcended, you and allies within 1,200 range of you gain 15 non-ultimate ability haste and heal for 1% of your max health every 3 seconds, increased up to 100% based on that champion's missing health, 60-second cooldown. I'm thinking, like, Tank Galio could be a thing. I'm thinking, like, Tank Galio. I mean, you could go tank support of Cho'Gath, but, like, why would you not want to just have the Joksho, the Protean, on Cho'Gath? Yeah, I guess if... Okay, if the onus isn't on you to deal damage in a team fight, then you would go this item even if you would normally want to go Joksho. And again, this comes down to determining who is the onus on in the game in terms who has to be the beatdown, who has to be the offender in the game. And if it's not you, then there's going to be a lot of times where Radiant Virtue is the item over Joksho, but that is going to have to be almost a meta call inside of the game based on team composition, game curve, etc. But obviously it's a mythic, so typically you're going to build it first, which means that you have to recognize that out of the draft. And I think that's fine. I love items like this. Heartsteel. Grow into a Goliath that towers over foes and pummels the opposition. Gold cost 3,200. Health 800. Health regen 200%. Ability haste 20. Build path, Kindle Gem, Crystalline Bracer, Giant's Belt. Okay. Charge up a powerful attack against champion over 3 seconds within 700 range of them. The charge attack deals 125 plus 6% of your max health as bonus physical damage, and grants you 10% of the amount as per... It's not a perma-drain. Wait a second. It's not permanently draining. I thought it's 3 a second. I thought it's 3% of your max health a second. Oh, Heartsteel is going to be nuts. Never mind. Okay, I was wrong. I was wrong. Okay, Heartsteel is going to be the item for Cho'Gath and Zac and all those things. So everything I just said about Joksho, I was wrong. It's about Heartsteel. Okay, that makes sense. Wow, actually, wait, Joksho's bad. Joksho's really bad. What is even going on here? Wait, this item is not good. I thought it was per second. You just get a ton of resist, but that doesn't matter, especially like because it's going to be your first mythic and you're a tank champion, so you're not actually getting 4 or 5 items. Oh, wow. No, you just get Heartsteel. You get Heartsteel, and all the excess HP and all the HP that you get from Colossal Consumption is going to probably equate to more EHP than Joksho could give you in its current form. There's no way. There's no way Joksho could be better. So, okay, it's going to be Heartsteel or Radiant Virtue. Okay. Wow, these items. Iceborne Gauntlet, formerly Frostfire Gauntlet. Control the battlefield, cripple the opposition. Okay, so the magic resistance is now 0, but the armor is up by 50. HP is down by 50, code cost up by 200. After using an ability, your next attack is enhanced with an additional 100% base physical AD and creates a frost field. Your primary target is crippled, applying 100% stronger slow on them, reducing their damage by 10% against you for 2.5 seconds, 1.5 second cooldown. So you can permanently reduce damage. Wow, okay. I mean, the thing is, this is still a jungle item. So it is still a jungle item. Here's the thing, though. I think look, let me explain something. These items are so broken. These are so broken. Radiant Virtue and Heartsteel. Here's what I'm thinking. Is that you maybe start building, maybe you get bombies and then you sell it. The same way that you would sell like a Darksteel or a Doran's Ring or a D-Blade or something. Now, again, I have to dive into all the jungle changes and stuff. Okay, so what I'm saying right now might be totally wrong. And then you just get these items later, and that would be fine. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, this definitely seems okay, but these items are just, they're something else, these other ones. Rod of Ages, the one you've all been waiting for. True. An old friend returns to help you scale into the late game. Gold cost 3,200, ability power 60, health 300, mana 400, build path. Catalyst of Aeons, Blasting Wand, Amplifying Tome. Catalyst of Aeons is back, huh? This item gains 20 health, 20 mana, and 4 ability power every minute up to 10 times. So it'll end up giving you 100 ability power, which is very, 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 very good. And a lot of health and a lot of mana. Okay, upon reaching... Is it a mythic? Oh, it's a mythic! Gain a level and all effects of a turn... Gain a level for free. What? This does not increase the level cap of level 18. Okay, that's fine. Unique passive. Restore mana equal to 8% pre-mitigation damage taken from champions. Health. Wow. Yeah, I mean, this is truly the Battle Mage item now. This is really good. This is really good for Battle Mage. This is fantastic for Kosadin. It's fantastic for Rise. This is a really good item. Okay, Catalyst of Aeons. Turning alongside Rod of Ages is a one-stop shop. Oh my lord! It's back! Mages finally have an option other than Lost Chapter. So Battle Mages are going to be returning with Catalyst of Aeons. They're going to be able to actually fight back now against Lost Chapter fanatics, which is really good. Abyssal Mask. Okay. Gold cost up by 300. Health is up by 50. Mana up by 300. Magic resist up by 5. Ability haste. Okay. Okay. All right. Now it has the Eternity passive. This makes the item definitely a lot better. Wow, Battle Mages are getting a lot of assist. Tanks in general are getting a lot of assistance, but I feel like it's always that way, right, with preseason. Okay, active. Rondo's critical damage reduction being tied to the active has led to less satisfying... Okay, so active, humility. Briefly slow enemies nearby for 55% for 2 seconds. 60-second cooldown. Passive critical resistances, critical strike deal. Okay, that's really good. All right, so now this truly is the anti-crit item. Whereas before, I agree with the note. It wasn't that great. Flame Touch has been removed. Passive immolate damage is no longer increased to... okay, what? While it's no longer a mythic item, Sunfire is still your go-to option for wave clear and sustained... Oh! Oh, it's a legendary! Okay, so, what I said ended up coming true in its own way. Oh, wow, yeah, okay, so you'll go Sunfire and you'll go Colossus. Okay, wow, all right, that's fine. And, yeah, legendary as well. Thank you, get out of here. Okay, Ages of the Legion. Finally, man! This item was so bad. It was so painful to build into. Because you sit on the components, and now you don't sit on them as long. And that's very good. Okay, Ravenous Hydra. Great for 80 melee champions looking to carry their teams with damage. Damage is down by 5. Unique passive. 60% of total AD. And 30% of total AD for ranged champions, okay? Gain 0.6 AD and 0.1% Omnivamp on minion kills. Increase to twice that amount for champions. Stacks up to 24 AD. Wow. And 4% Omnivamp. Lose half of these. That's pretty good. That's actually, I really like that. It's very unique design. And I really like that. I really, really like that. That's a very cool change. Yeah, these are very cool. Oh my lord, Spirit become the 80 caster you've always wanted to be. Unique passive, Dragon Force. Now an ultimate gains an extra 8 plus 8% base AD ability haste for melee champion. Wow. So Jax is back, and so is Renekton. And Renekton should already be building Glass Cannon. So when he builds Glass Cannon and he has this as well, I mean, it's going to absolutely be insane. Gain up to 15% melee based on your percent missing health. Yep. Okay, champions. With the increased damage coming to Smite this patch, we're buffing up Cho'Gath's feats to execute damage in order to keep it competitive. Don't let Cho... Wow. Damage to non-champions is up by 200 flat. Very nice. Lilia, changed from range to melee. Base health decreased, health growth increased, passive healing versus champions increased. So all around, just very good buffs for her. You're not really going to be too concerned. The change to melee, I wonder what impact that actually has on like support or something, but probably not. Q damage to non-champions increased. This is obviously just following the Cho'Gath thing. Change from range to melee, that's really good for support. Smite damage, 450 base, 900 challenging to 600, 900, 1200 at 0, 20, 40 companion stacks. New Smite changes, yep, we already, okay, again, separate video. Gold given per plate is up by 15. Armor and MR per turret plate. Now, so this is very interesting. So the gold up given per plate actually matters because of the change that they made for top lane for the gold on minions and whatnot. Armor and MR per turret plate, 35 to 40. Okay. So that's fine as well. What this is talking about is the bulwark passive. A lot of people actually don't know this exists. When you take down a plate, there is a debuff or a buff that the turret gets if you click on it, and you'll see it at the top left, that actually notifies you that bulwark is active. That's why subsequent plates are more difficult to take. Champion base stat cleanup, behavioral systems. Penalty ladders will be upgraded according to match the new severity tiers we can detect. Players who are chat restricted will no longer be able to send messages to other players in games. When adding party members using the plus button, okay, competitive. AFK surrender time updates. They've been updated. No more dead zone. Teams have options to call a unanimous early surrender vote if an AFK player is detected on their team between 10 and 15 to 3:30 and 15. Yes! Yes! Champ select anonymity. As we discussed in the talk with the best version of the league is not when you metagame based on the players in your lobby. You want to avoid using someone else's win or loss streak, playing a different champion to force a dodge or pressure others to dodge when your setup doesn't meet the perfect condition. Okay, so that is kind of crazy. I like the allies are friends. But the thing that's really crazy, I'm really curious to see how this goes over on Korea, where Korea is such a meta slave region. Game remake update. This is obviously really good as well. Mythic content, okay. 2023 season end rewards. Make sure to definitely get them. Okay, so again, recapping. This is a very large patch, and a lot is going on with it. And I do have to make a separate video on all of the jungle changes because it deserves it. And that is what we are going to be doing. And that video will probably come out, I'm going to say next week. I'm going to take some time to really gather my thoughts on all the changes, toy around with them, talk with people, do all of that stuff. In the meantime, there will be no patron update changes going on. And then, as a lot of you guys know, I have not streamed now in about 10 days. I am contemplating whether or not I am still going to be doing this next year. I'm having conversations with, obviously, like my agency, a lot of people very close to me. I'm having conversations with Riot, having conversations with like other friends in like the League of Legends sphere, and I'm trying to like do everything, but that's not going to prevent me from, in the meantime, while I'm making that decision, still doing what I've always been doing, and so I will dive into the meat of all of this. And so now, without further ado, we get to the most important part of the patch rundown, which is obviously the skins. So this, I guess, is like Gragas. Now, look, I'm actually not going to spend that much time on the skin line because the skin line is the weirdest thing ever, and I feel like a lot of people have echoed that sentiment. So I'm actually not going to spend that much time giving it that much attention. This skin is absolutely beautiful. This is a really, really, really cool skin. It does, I did see the meme image of like Poppy all grown up. So if you guys actually go and find Poppy's base image and then look at if Poppy grew up into an adult, it's basically Poppy all grown up. But yeah, we're not going to really go too much into the skin line. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't know. Maybe it really does sell a lot. It's way too cartoony and just out there for me. And even this is just too over the top. I really don't know what to think. This skin's really cute, but that's pretty much it. This one is No. No. Anyways, guys, I hope that you did enjoy it, and yeah, so hopefully updates coming in about a week for the jungle update video, and you guys yeah, you might have yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. So I will see you guys all in a week for the jungle update video. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.